Good evening, fellow foxes! My name is Solaito, and today we are going to play some Clash Royale. I have a very effective deck for you guys. It's the Hog Freeze deck, and that deck brought me all the way from Arena 5, like Spell Valley right here, all the way to almost 2,000 trophies, which means we will almost be getting into the Royal Arena. So this deck is just tremendously effective. But before we dive into this deck, I want to thank you guys, because as you probably might have noticed, we have just reached the major milestone of reaching 4,000 subscribers. It wasn't that long ago that we still were celebrating 3,000 subscribers, and we are already at the next milestone. So thanks a lot, guys. I owe everything to you. I love making these videos, and hopefully I can make a ton more in the future. However, I got a little bit of a sad announcement. My exams are coming up. So in the next month you probably shouldn't be expecting that many videos. But after that month, when my vacation starts, I will be making tons of videos because I will have lots of free time. So hopefully then we can make a lot of new videos about new mobile games, about Clash Royale, perhaps even some King of Thieves videos. But that's enough for that. Let's dive into the content of today. Today we'll be talking about this Hog Freeze deck. So basically, the two most important components are obviously the freeze spell, which is an epic card, and so you kind of have to get lucky to get this one, but if you can get this one, it's a tremendously effective card, and I highly recommend you putting it in your deck. However, the freeze spell is going to get nerfed in the next update, which is about a week from now, so this deck might be a little bit less effective than it is right now. As you can see, the duration right now is 5.3 seconds, which is quite long, and whenever you upgrade your freeze spell, the duration will increase. So then we obviously have the Hog Rider. My Hog Rider is level 5. I will definitely try to level up one extra level to level 6, so it can become even more effective. The Hog Rider is a rare card, and basically it will only target buildings, and it can even jump over the river, which also makes it quite effective. It is super fast, and the Hog Rider is extremely efficient at pushing slower units in front of it. So for example, if you place a Valkyrie in front of the Hog Rider will push the Valkyrie all the way to the tower, bringing the Valkyrie quite quickly to the tower and kind of protecting the Hog Rider from swarm troops. Okay, so the next one we have is the Musketeer. The Musketeer is a rare card, and basically the Musketeer can deal a tremendous amount of damage, focus damage against a single target. And I'm definitely thinking about the Baby Dragon because the Musketeer is a perfect counter for that card. But also it's good to put behind your tower so it can shoot down enemy troops while your tower is tanking up the damage, and then you can do a counter push with your Musketeer. Then we have the Cannon, and as you can see, I'm only one card away of upgrading this card to level 8, so I will definitely be doing that quite shortly. But the Cannon is just a great card overall. It only costs 3 Elixir, and therefore it makes it one of the most cheapest building cards. And the Cannon is mainly used for distracting a Hog Rider and a Balloon. It's just an extremely efficient counter against a Hog Rider, as it only costs 3 Elixir and a Hog Rider costs 4. And Hog Riders are super popular these days, so it's definitely a must-have in your deck. I recommend putting a Cannon in almost every deck right now because of just how dominant Hog Riders are. Okay, then we have Skeletons. Only cost 1 Elixir, extremely efficient card. They can be very easy to cycle through your deck, but they are also can deal a tremendous amount of damage if they are left untouched. So for example, if you can freeze a tower and get 4 skeletons actually to attack the tower, those will deal quite a bit of damage. And not that many people actually expect such a tremendous amount of damage output from such a cheap troop. It's also very handy against giants or other big monsters coming your way. And then we have the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is our splash damage dealer, especially super handy for countering a wizard. I definitely use this one against a wizard. It takes great care of the wizard. It's good against goblins, spear goblins, skeletons, and especially barbarians. This is our main counter against barbarians, so you definitely want to have that. And also a bomber and a wizard are extremely handy to use a Valkyrie against those troops. So for example, if your opponent is pushing with a giant and it places a wizard or a bomber behind the giant, then just let the the giant come to your edge of the map, and then you place the Valkyrie behind the giant, and the Valkyrie will take care of the wizard or the bomber. So then we have arrows. Arrows are mainly used for taking out minions. Minions are one of the highest damage dealing cards in the game, but if you can trade them with arrows, you just gain 2 elixir, which is pretty major. Besides being a very effective trade against minions, arrows can also be very handy when your opponent deploys, for example, goblins and spear goblins. At the same time, they can be really good at taking out those. But mostly you want to save your arrows for if your opponent has a minion horde or just regular minions, then you can use these and gain an elixir advantage. Another card I have to gain an elixir advantage is my Elixir Collector. As you can see, it's level 3, but really the level doesn't matter because the level only influences its hit point, and basically we just place this Elixir Collector safely behind a tower, so really nothing can happen against it. So even if you have a level 1 Elixir Collector, that should still be fine. Elixir Collector is used to build up an elixir advantage. If you have this in your starting hand, I try to place it as quickly as possible, and you start already ramping up that elixir and gaining a pretty big advantage right from the get-go. This Elixir Collector, I only use it till about 1 minute left in the game because it takes about 1 minute and 10 seconds to generate all its elixir, so after that there's really no point at placing an Elixir Collector and you will have a disadvantage. Unless you're planning to go in overtime, then you still might deploy your Elixir Collector. So those are all the cards in my deck. As you can see, quite a lot of red cards, which I tried to have leveled up to level 5, and your comments or my comments are about level 8 or almost level 8. My free spell is only 2 and I would love to have it to level 3, but for now it's just doing fine. So as I said, I have been climbing quite a bit with this deck, and I've been playing against quite a few stronger people than me actually. So the first match we're going to watch is an extremely close match for me against G Giant. And as you will see, this is actually a match in the Royal Arena. So this is actually my second match I have ever played in the Royal Arena, so that's quite exciting. So we started the game, I have my Elixir Collector in my hand. I will be deploying it pretty quickly. My opponent also has an Elixir Collector and he will also be deploying it. But since I deployed it first, I have a little bit of an advantage over him, as my Elixir will come a bit quicker. As you can see, I'm almost back at 10 Elixir and he is still at 9. Okay, so I'm deploying a Valkyrie, he's deploying 2 archers. Like those archers on their own, they can't really do that much, so I'm just gonna let the tower tank that. And as long as he doesn't place any support troops, he should be fine. So then we deploy a Musketeer behind our Valkyrie, being an extremely efficient way to deal a tremendous amount of damage. Then he's placing the minion horde and the barbarians. So we use the arrows on the minion horde, and I hope we could have frozen the barbarians and the towers so a Hog Rider could deal a tremendous amount of damage. But sad enough, we were too late. Now he's playing the Prince. The Prince is totally wrecking our Musketeer. So trying to distract the Prince by placing a cannon, and it kind of worked. So we're still in pretty good shape. So now again we have the Valkyrie placing the Musketeer once again behind it, and it's going to the tower. But now he's placing his archers, and that will take care pretty quickly of our Musketeer. But luckily enough, our Musketeer was able to do quite a bit of damage against the tower. So again, arrowing that minion horde. And now we're both a bit waiting. We both have an Elixir Collector, so there's not really an Elixir advantage to be gained here. He's deploying a balloon and some barbarians, so that's going to be quite a pretty tough counter. I was hoping to distract the cannon, to distract the balloon with my cannon, but it didn't work out. So I deployed the Valkyrie to take care of the barbarians and froze the balloon in hopes that my tower will be able to take it down, which he freezes once again. And I didn't have enough elixir for my Musketeer, so now I'm deploying my Musketeer, but it's way too late and he takes down my tower. So it isn't looking that great for us. He has a whole tower upon us, and he also has the elixir advantage here, so it's going to be quite tough. So he deployed his Prince. It's going to take pretty easily take care of our Musketeer. So on the right hand we're building up kind of a push with our Valkyrie and our Hog Rider. Just let the Prince do its thing against our King Tower. So we're gonna have to arrow that for the minion horde. And there are still some barbarians left and we froze that. So now our Hog Rider can deal a nice amount of damage against its crown tower. And like I keep on deploying my troops and we're having quite a nice amount of troops there, and just before the battle ends, like was 10 seconds left, we were able to take down his tower, and now we have 2 musketeers shooting on his king tower, but his prince will take care of that. So now it's sudden death, and he has a massive push going against me. So I'm immediately deploying a cannon to distract the balloon, but that didn't really work, so I place my Valkyrie, I freeze those annoying troops, and I deploy a musketeer, which hopefully can take care of the balloon. I was lucky, the musketeer focused the balloon and they were able to take care of it. I totally didn't expect it. I was ready to lose that game basically. It was an insane push. So we deployed the Valkyrie. Now we are deploying our skeletons. We're gonna deploy a Hog Rider behind to push those troops, a musketeer. But as you can see, there's a huge push going on the right too. I don't know what to do, so I decided to freeze it right at the right time. So together with my king tower and my crown tower and my other cannon, I'm able to distract the cannon, and then meanwhile my push on the left side was able to take down the tower. So that was so close, only 9 seconds left on the clock, and I was 2 times I was very close at losing this game. So I'm super proud I was able to pull the win off at this game. So we're going to take a look at our next game, which we are going to watch. It's once again in Royal Arena. It was actually my first game I've ever played in Royal Arena, so that's quite exciting. Again, in our starting hand we have the Elixir Pump. That's always great if you have that card, just immediately deploy it and you already start grabbing up that Elixir. Although sometimes it can get a little bit risky if your opponents do a major push against you, but I really hadn't that much trouble with it. So my opponent deploying a cannon on the right side, so then I'm just going to deploy my troops on the left side, and you won't have any trouble fighting against the cannon. Basically that cannon is almost like 3 elixir wasted by him. And we already have an elixir advantage of 2 because of our pump, so we have 5 elixir ahead. Okay, so he has a giant, and giants are super annoying, and he has like a splash unit, a musketeer behind, so I'm just saying, fuck it, I can't defend against that, you know? So I'm just going to go for my own push. I'm freezing the tower with my Hog Rider and my skeletons. As you can see, the skeletons deal a tremendous amount of damage, and you're also able to take down the tower. But now he's pounding away at my king tower, so I have to do something. So I deploy the Valkyrie to take out the musketeer and the wizard, and now my Valkyrie can go sacrifice herself. Again, placing the elixir pump because I want to ramp up that elixir, because it will be a pretty close match, as you can see. So he's doing some spear goblins, I just let those die against my tower. And now my opponent is going to play a wizard to start his push from the back. And I want to deploy a musketeer. So we're both waiting for our elixir to fill up here. He's deploying a musketeer. He's probably going to deploy a giant in front of it, which will be quite annoying, as you can see. I'm placing out the cannon to distract the giant, but it doesn't really help. I also placed my skeletons, but obviously the wizard immediately took care of that. But then a pretty strong move was doing that Valkyrie, but even the Valkyrie didn't help. So then I'm deploying my Hog Rider, take down the cannon, and just arrowing all those guys to take them out, because it was getting way too risky for me there. So deploying the elixir pump because I still want to win this game, and it's like 1 minute left and it's probably going to go in overtime. But then he fireballs 2 of my elixir pumps, so he probably got like an advantage there in elixir wise. So time to deploy the Valkyrie. He's gonna do the wizard now. Like, he lacks a bit of focus. Like, he's attacking the left side, attacking the right side. Like, now I'm gonna all out go to the right side, and basically like all his endeavors previously to take down my king tower kind of goes to waste, because now he's attacking the left side. So he's dealing quite a bit of damage there against my tower, but I got 2 Valkyries and a musketeer going up against that crown tower. I'm placing my skeletons to help take care of that even quicker. Now my Hog Rider and my Valkyrie are pounding down the tower, and my Hog Rider will take care of that. So now we're at a pretty big disadvantage. Our tower, king tower, has only 1,200 life, but some way, somehow, I don't know how that happened actually, we were able to like counter this push and start a massive counter push. Like we have 2 musketeers going on. 2 musketeers just deal so much damage. Now we freeze that. Even though he fireballed my 2 musketeers, we are able to take down his king tower. That was super close, and like we were many times very close at losing ourselves. But never give up. Never give up. And this deck is great at coming back, because all you need is like that one moment where Hog Rider and like a support group get to that tower and you freeze that, and then boom, it can just be all over for your opponent. So that's why I really like this game, or this deck I mean. So we're gonna watch some more games, but I'm gonna do them at 2 times speed so you can see them a little bit quicker here. So again, starting off with Elixir Pump, whenever I have it in my opening hands, I'm super happy because it just, boom, you got 2 Elixir extra. So that's just what I like about it. So he's playing those goblins and countered with a cannon, and now we're both having a Valkyrie and a Musketeer battle against each other. Overall, nothing much happens. So now what you see what I did was like I used the Hog Rider to tank for the Musketeer, so my Musketeer was only 1 shot away from dying, but because the Hog Rider tanked, I still was able to do quite a bit of damage against the tower, and as you can see his tower is already down to 1,300 life. So we are definitely at an advantage here. So again, the classic push, a Valkyrie with a Musketeer behind it, probably gonna put the Hog Rider to some skeletons, and now I'm gonna freeze that shit obviously, because I just can freeze so many units of him and deal a tremendous amount of damage against his tower. So there I got epic value for my arrows. He deployed the minion horde and the goblins. I all take them down. Also, as you can see, the range of the cannon was quite short though, so the Musketeer was able to outrange it. And that is definitely something I have to pay attention to more in the future, because like if the Musketeer can just outrange my cannon and my crown tower can't hit the Musketeer, there's really no point at placing down at cannon. So we take the tower with our Musketeer quite easily, and now all which is left to do is to defend, and we're going to do that with our cannon. So we use the skeletons to battle against the giant, and to secure the victory we are going to freeze the giant. Okay, so we'll do one more. We'll do one more. We got another victory here over here, and let's watch this one. And 2 times. Okay, there we go. 2 times speed. So let's see how this one goes. Again, we had the Elixir Pump in our starting hand. So like the games where I have my Elixir Pump in my starting hand, I usually tend to win because you are immediately put on advantage. So as you can see there, I was able to save quite up some elixir from that push, and now I can do a pretty big counter push, and we were already doing quite a bit of damage. Okay, so this isn't looking too great. Luckily enough we have our skeletons. Skeletons are also a pretty good counter against a Hog Rider, because if the Hog Rider focuses the tower, then they just can pound away at the Hog Rider and they will take care of him pretty quickly. So once again, the combo I'm always using Valkyrie and Musketeer behind it. Like this combo is pretty efficient. So now the Hog Rider and the Musketeer going for the tower and taking it down. I'm freezing those barbarians, but it really was necessary. That was kind of a little bit of wasted elixir, but here we're using our tower and our Valkyrie to take care of those troops. The Hog Rider came pretty close there at taking down my tower, but we were just able to stop it before they could get to it. So now I'm focusing on the left side while still defending a bit on the right side, but it doesn't really look like he's going to take it. And I placed the laser pump to like distract the Hog Rider, and just at the very last moment we were able to survive. My opponent only had 35 health left to take away from my tower, so that was a very, very close match. Okay, so I hope I proved my point. This deck is just super duper effective. I've got many victories. Here was one defeat against a Royal Giant, which is kind of unfair because I haven't been able to get a Royal Giant. Like, I don't know how this guy did. He has like 1,700 trophies and he already has a level 7 Royal Giant, so that's quite impressive. But overall, I really love this deck. It just gives me so many victories, and I was able to climb up from Arena 5 almost now to Arena 7. So whenever I get to Arena 7, that will be quite a big milestone, because then we can finally unlock all the cards in the game. There are still quite a few cards I haven't unlocked. Mostly legendary cards though. But also some epic cards, and obviously the Royal Giant, which I would love to have. The Royal Giant is super effective right now, and I still will be quite effective in the future. So perhaps the next deck I will be designing after this Hog Freeze deck might be a Royal Giant deck. So fellow foxes, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, definitely drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe to get update on future Clash Royale videos. Stay awesome foxes, and see you next time.